Glad to have you join us again for Newsline. And you know, for hot and stimulating stories, this is the place to be. I am Jennifer Igwe. Welcome. Was it not the late famous American motivational speaker and author Zig Ziglar that said you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great? Indeed. On our lineup today is the story of how passion and diligence paved way for a commercial motorcycle rider, popularly referred to in Nigeria as Okada, and how today he is a House of Representatives member-elect. Don't miss this inspiring story. Another inspiring story on cue is the case of a 19-year-old student living with cerebral palsy. His story amplifies the fact that you are only limited by limitations you allow. Even with his condition, this teenager is soaring high and setting the pace for others to follow. I'm sure you have, I'm sure you think you have an idea who I'm talking about. I have a sneak suspicion that you know who it is. Well, if you don't, stay on the line as well. The actions of new mothers who abandoned their babies at the hospital is heartbreaking. What could have quenched the maternal instinct in them? Why such cold move? What will become of the bundles of joy they left behind? Our correspondent will shed more light on this, including how a mentoring program is transforming the lives of some youths. So let's start with the news segment as usual, and Elizabeth Omori in Abuja is waiting. Hello, Lizzie. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Jennifer, and thanks for joining us in Abuja. It was a remarkable feeling of nostalgia as President Muhammadu Buhari this Sunday reunited with his old schoolmates at his Dara country home. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the reunion was quite emotional.
It was an exciting moment that brought back fond memories between President Muhammadu Buhari and his old schoolmates. The meeting provided the opportunity to thank Allah for sparing their lives to meet once again. Members of the group, under the auspices of the Association of 1953 Middle School Intake, were 96 at formation, but only about 1/4 of them are now surviving. The latest among those that passed away was Senator Abba Ali, a friend and decades-long associate of the president. Until his demise, Senator Abba Ali was chairman, National Governing Council of the African Peer Review Mechanism. President Buhari and his guests prayed for the repose of his soul and those of the others that died between the last time they met and now. The Nigerian leader inquired about each other's health and well-being as well as their family members. He expressed joy and happiness for the meeting, saying he got the same feeling that he used to have when they were young. They chatted for a while, talked about the school days and shared a lot of memories. The president thanked the schoolmates for their respect and feelings for him, which they have retained all these years. Members of the delegation took turns during the closed-door engagement to appreciate President Buhari for his selflessness in service, sacrifice for Nigeria, and the giant strides achieved in critical economic sectors, which they say will remain indelible in the minds of Nigerians. From Daura, Katsina State, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The resumption of Senate and House plenary sessions earlier scheduled for Tuesday 14th of March 2023 have been postponed to Tuesday 21st of March 2023. Statements by the clerks of the Red and Green Chambers note that the shift is to enable members to take active part in the rescheduled governorship election across the states. To politics, Bauchi State Government has reaffirmed its commitment to providing a level playing ground for all political parties in the state. Governor Bala Mohammed gave the assurance while declaring open a one-day zonal sensitization on election violence organized by the African Union Development Agency and the new Partnership for African Development held in Bauchi. Muazu Hassan reports.
Represented by his deputy Senator Babatila, the governor expressed concern over the crisis experienced during election, which led to loss of lives and property, and stressed the need for all hands to be on deck to check the negative trend. He commended UDA and NEPAD for their foresight in organizing the event. He also charged politicians not to take politics as do-or-die affairs and always accept election results in good faith in the interest of the country's democracy.
Electoral violence has been a recurring problem and threat to achieving democracy and good governance in Nigeria and Africa at large.
As you may be aware, African Union Development Agency, one of its 5 pillars is to promote democracy and good governance in Nigeria and Africa at large.
I know that each one of us is so critical in ensuring that we have a violence-free election. No development will thrive where there is rancor, dissension, and conflict.
The occasion was attended by political parties, security agents, civil society organizations, anti-graft agencies, INEC, and media organizations from 6 states of the Northeast region. In Bauchi, Muaz Hassan.
The dictum that no election should be a do-or-die affair, but a platform for healthy competition seems to be losing its vital meaning among some Nigerians, as seen after the first lap of the 2023 general elections. This is because the once cordial relationship among people is now being threatened by political differences, ideology, even religion. In this special report, Michael Olaleye sought people's opinion on the right attitude to elections.
It is the electioneering season and a time when opinions invariably differ and usually divided either in favor or against a particular party or individuals. From the electorate, however, healthy debate devoid of provocation is expected to be the norms, but the emotion put into the 2023 general elections is making some people to cross the caution lines. Baffled by this trend, I met with Simon Okoro, a medical practitioner who shared same sentiments. He narrates a scenario on a social media group platform and how issues revolving around the election almost tore the membership apart.
It was very explosive until the admin had to ban all forms of political discussion on the platform for temper to cool down. Then after that, there was a kind of, appeal that what we are ultimately striving to achieve is the progress of Nigeria, irrespective of whichever tribe that each person belongs to.
The social media seems to be the active force for driving these sentiments, with some users supporting their opinions with religious claim and ethnicity.
Don't allow yourself to be used to truncate proper sane processes.
In the face of this ugly scenario, what then should be the role of the citizens in entrenching peaceful atmosphere?
Election is not do or die. It doesn't matter whether the person is a Muslim or a Christian or other religion. As long as Nigerians come, we think Nigeria. We need to begin to reorientate our people's mind to think Nigeria first before any other thing.
Stakeholders in the Nigeria project want the citizens not to allow issues like election divide their common aspiration for a prosperous and virile nation. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NTA News.
Quite enlightening. Thank you so much, Michael, for that report. And political activities must be based on issues that affect the socio-economic well-being of any given society, rather than promoting ethnic sentiments capable of disuniting the populace. Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Omotosho, stated this at a media interactive forum in Lagos. Musa Tolia has details.
The Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Benga Motosha, stressed that there was no ethnic laws required when the Independent National Electoral Commission gave the nod for the registration of political parties in the country. He therefore took a swipe at some politicians who are playing tribal cards to whip up sentiments ahead of the governorship election.
For anybody to come and put infrastructure in place for about 25 million people, to come and see how 25 million people can continue to cohabit as brothers and sisters, and to make them proud to be called Lagosians.
Mr. Motosha also set the record straight on the operation of the Blue Line rail system while expressing confidence that the All Progressives Congress will surmount the challenges identified during the presidential election when the governorship and state elections get underway on Saturday 18 this year.
If it's not ready, it's not going to be commissioned now. It's been commissioned. Even you will remember that before the president came, when we finished the infrastructure, everything, that when we put the bolts and nuts together, we called you guys to come and see, and we said we were celebrating the completion of the infrastructure.
The commissioner hinted that security has been intensified to curb any form of violence aimed at disrupting the forthcoming elections across the metropolis. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
Away from politics, the deployment of immediate relief items to victims of fire disaster in Malamawa and Karangia villages in Jigawa State by the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA has been described as a high sense of responsibility exhibited by the agency, as well as the relentless efforts of the state government at ensuring that the people get the right support, says the Deputy Governor Umar Namadi, who received the items on behalf of the state government. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
Nigeria is one of the many countries in the world that has been battling with the management of disasters, especially flood, fire, and building collapse. The failed management of these Herculean tasks is not unconnected to the lack of responsive intervention from the first respondent, ranging from state, local, and community levels. Although the Jigawa State Deputy Governor Umar Namadi, who is also the APC governorship candidate, stands out in demonstrating capacity and commitment in making sure that his people get the immediate support whenever disaster occurs. In the case of the recent fire disaster that hit communities of Malamawa and Karangia in Kiawa local government area of the state, the people were adequately supported by both the state and the federal government through NEMA.
Today, the DG NEMA is here with us. He has brought a lot of relief to these people.
The victims thank both the state and federal government for the immediate support and however express confidence with the intervening spirit of Umar Namadi. Director General National Emergency Management Agency NEMA Mustafa Habib Ahmed, who presented the relief to the affected victims, commiserated with the government and people of Jigawa State.
The situation is terrible. More than half of the town, you have gone around with us to see, has totally been destroyed. People have lost their houses, their belongings, and everything you can think of.
Items delivered included mattresses, clothing, building materials, as well as food items, among other support. From Kiawa local government area of Jigawa State, Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
Now let's talk weather and predictions. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency says the 2023 rainy season has commenced and warns that the season will be accompanied by thunderstorms and hazardous weather conditions. Musa Babaliu tells us more.
The first rain that dropped in Abuja was on 25th February this year. Since then, there has been frequent rainfalls not only in Abuja but in parts of Niger, Kaduna, Nasarawa and Kogi states. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency described the rain in the month of February in the north-central state as pre-onset. However, the season has commenced in coastal states.
Season is expected to range from 84 to 283 days. Abuja and surrounding states are expected to witness between 170 to 230 days of rain.
The agency cautioned that the season will be accompanied by thunderstorms, turbulence, lightning strike, strong winds, and heavy rainfall.
Our main mandate is to produce the forecast and the relay, and then we have also other enabling agencies. That is their own mandate to now translate this information into and then also get it implemented at the grassroots level.
NIMET said the weather condition could pose significant threats to the safety of lives and property and could also affect aviation industry. Consequently, NIMET assured pilots and airport users that it has installed weather monitoring systems and thunder detectors across the airport nationwide as a measure to mitigate the effects of thunderstorms on the aviation industry. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
It's time to take our first break. More reports ahead when we return. To stay. Welcome back. President Muhammad Buhari congratulates Xi Jinping on his re-election for a third five-year term as president and chairman of the Central Military Commission of the People's Republic of China. A statement by the special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, says President Buhari commends the relationship between China and Nigeria, which dates back to 1971, when both countries formally established diplomatic ties, which have expanded rapidly on bilateral trade and strategic cooperation. The president looks forward to a strategic partnership with China, which he believes will continue to blossom in areas of military, political, trade, finance, oil and gas. He also expresses hope that there will be cooperation in telecommunications, agriculture, infrastructure development and manufacturing sectors. President Buhari wishes the government and people of China continued peace, progress and prosperity under the leadership of President Xi Jinping. President Muhammad Buhari rejoices with the first indigenous managing director of Nigerian Railway Corporation, Elder Nath C.U. Okoro, on his 92nd birthday, congratulating the veteran for his pioneering work on railway transportation in the country. President Buhari felicitates with friends, family and associates of Elder Okoro on the auspicious occasion, giving glory to God for long life and strength, particularly considering his contributions to national development with the commendable record of founding the Nigerian Institute of Transport Technology. The president notes his service to the country and passion for ensuring an effective transportation system, serving as the principal consultant, Federal Urban Mass Transit Program and president of the Chartered Institute of Transport, Nigeria, known as Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport. As the former Vice President, West Africa of the Union of African Railways, the President extols Elder Okoro for representing Nigeria creditably in sub-regional and global associations and ensuring that the interest of the country comes first in all negotiations. The President prays that Almighty God grant Elder Okoro good health and strength to further see fruits of his dreams for the railways. To security now, the Ogun State Police Command has arrested 5 members of a ritualist gang who have allegedly been exhuming corpses from graves and removing their parts for ritual purposes. A statement by the Police Public Relations Officer in Ogun State, Abimbola Oyeyemi, explains that the suspects were arrested following an information received by the police at Odogbolu Divisional Headquarters that the gang, who were allegedly responsible for a series of corpse exhumation within Ososa community, were planning to carry out another round of human parts harvest. Police says on investigation, the suspects made confessional statements that they are into the business of exhuming corpses from graves and sell to buyers who need them for money rituals in parts. In the meantime, the Ogun State Commissioner of Police, Frank Umba, has directed that the suspects be transferred to the State Criminal Investigation Department for discreet investigation. Meanwhile, a 26-year-old suspected drug trafficker, Alayi Madu, has been arrested with 10 kilograms of skunk. The suspect, believed to be a former Boko Haram fighter for 15 years, was arrested by NDLE operatives along Abuja-Kaduna Express Road during a sting operation. In the meantime, in the same vein, 3 cannabis farms measuring 39.8 hectares have been destroyed in Kajola, a border town between Edo and Ondo states. A suspected traditional ruler, Akinola Adebayo, was arrested in connection with culturing of the illicit substance. Meanwhile, the long week operation saw the arrest of 35 others over alleged trafficking of more than 2.2 tons of illicit drugs at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, and 12 other states. Let's take you to Akwa Ibom State, where the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps arrested 2 suspects for illegal bunkering and impounded 150 drums of premium motor spirit suspected to be illegally refined. Kelvin Samuel reports that the arrest was made by the Marine Unit of the NSCDC in Ibeno local government area while on patrol.
Given the present economic situation in the country occasioned by hike in the price of petroleum product, which has affected the cost of most household items, patriotic Nigerians across board are joining hands with government to salvage the situation and restore the country to its glory days. However, there are still those who persist on carrying out activities capable of sabotaging the nation's economy through oil theft, pipeline vandalization, and similar criminal acts. This is why the NSCDC, which is an agency specifically saddled with the responsibility of providing adequate security of the nation's critical infrastructures, has vowed not to rest on its oars until such criminals are brought to book.
It's not going to be business as usual. We are determined to take the fight to the front line. We are not ready to step down so long as we remain in this command here. And we are begging the community who has any vital information to please come forward.
2 suspects, 5 engines, wooden boat, and a pumping machine are currently in the custody of the NSCDC for further investigation and possible prosecution. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Immigration Service has handed 11 Libya-bound human trafficking victims over to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, in Sokoto. A statement by the Nigerian Immigration Service explains that the 11 victims, all women, were apprehended in Niger Republic and repatriated by the Niger Republic Police. Akoneme further reveals that the young women are from different parts of the country and are aged between 19 and 37. They have been handed over to the Sokoto NAPTIP office by NIS Ilela Border Command. The statement advises Nigerians to desist from undertaking such perilous journeys. And next, some sporting stories.
The Nigerian under-18 male handball team finished 3rd in the under-18 category of the IHF Trophy Intercontinental Championship 2023 in Costa Rica after a slim 28-27 loss to Georgia Sunday morning. The Nigerian boys had a chance of winning the title and also qualifying for the IHF Under-20 World Championship, but the Georgians proved to be the brick wall. This is Nigeria's first defeat in the IHF Trophy Challenge since they lost against Chinese Taipei in Kosovo in 2019. And to football, Super Eagles defender William Troost Ekong is set to be omitted from Nigeria's squad for the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations 2-legged qualifiers against Guinea-Bissau. The on loan Watford centre-back is still recuperating from the injury he sustained in Salernitana's Serie A clash against Hellas Verona last month, with Super Eagles coach Jose Pesero, who is in Italy, to monitor some Nigerian players, confirming that the defender is not yet fit and has little chance of making his squad for the game against the Jotters. In the English Premier League, Arsenal re-established their 5-point lead over Manchester City atop the table with a comfortable 3-0 win over Fulham at Craven Cottage. Southampton held Manchester United to a goalless draw at Old Trafford after Casemiro was shown a straight red card, with West Ham United moving out of the relegation zone after a 1-0 draw with Aston Villa. And finally, boxing promoter Eddie Earn has broken his silence on the poor ticket sales for Anthony Joshua's April 1 clash with Jermaine Franklin at the O2 Arena in London. Despite instantly selling out the 20,000-seater in the past, there are still thousands of tickets left less than 3 weeks to Joshua's upcoming bout. But Earn claims the arena will be packed out on fight night, putting the poor sales down to the fact that they haven't given out tickets to the undercard fighters. With Sports Update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
The Afegwa family of Edo State has confirmed the demise of the first woman senator in Nigeria, Senator Franca Afegwa, who passed on today, 12th of March 2023. A family source, Kasim Afegwa, who confirmed the demise of the woman, described as one who combined beauty and brain in her service to Nigeria, says she died at the age of 80. Born into the Afegwa royal family in Okpela, Edo State, Franca Afegwa represented Bendo North in the Nigerian Senate in 1993. In 1983, she was elected on the platform of the National Party of Nigeria. Funeral details will be announced by the family in due course. Now let's take a quick look at what the weather would look like tomorrow, Monday.
To Monday's weather forecast. A stable atmosphere is expected across the country during the morning hours, as sunny skies with patches of clouds are expected mostly over the northern and the north-central region of the country, with increased cloudiness down south. By afternoon and evening hours, the possibilities of thunderstorms to parts of Nasarawa, Benue, the Federal Capital Territory, Kogi, and most parts of the southern region. Up next is the Air Quality Index and Theodoritum. Thank you for watching.
And that's the news segment. Jennifer in Lagos has some social and human angle stories for us. Jennifer?
Thank you, Lizzie, for the news. Now to Newsline proper. Nigeria is a country that is richly blessed in various ways, despite challenges facing it. The nation has great assets and positive attributes that have not been fully harnessed for economic development. Amaka will spoke with a cross-section of Nigerians and expatriates on their views, and now she reports.
Nigeria is often referred to as the giant of Africa. It is public knowledge that the 36 states and the FCT are endowed in no small measure from the buoyant, diverse cultural heritage of the people to the abundance of natural resources beneath the earth crusts. Worthy of note is the tourism potential, with huge economic benefits that can make the nation tourist destination in the continent.
Domestic tourism is another arm of money making that we are ignoring. If we exploit, or if we run the spotlight on all our tourism potential within domestically, honestly, if Nigerians learned to travel within Nigeria, just visiting each other and getting to know what we have. You go to Ekiti, or go to Bauchi, the warm spring, Ekiti, oh come on, or the rolling hills of Ekiti, then Oshun, the Groove. Oh, there's so much going on in Nigeria.
We have the largest amount of arable land on the African continent, so there's too much going on for us to not leverage on these things, and let us forge ahead with the God-given resources that we have. We have one of the greatest resources of all, human resource.
In spite of the rising statistics of Nigerians leaving the shores of the country in droves in search for greener pastures, many express hope in Nigeria as they give words of advice.
But Nigeria is the best country in the world. Think of everything we have. When you've traveled abroad, you know that it's just a matter of time. Once we get some indices right, nobody will want to go anywhere again.
That's why I told you all these people are jackpot. They should not jackpot because in London, in US, nobody will borrow you $1, $1. $1 cannot give you breakfast. £1 cannot give you breakfast.
Nigeria is one very, very complete, potent nation. And may God let it be as he wants it to be, a super nation.
With the presence of foreign investors who tap into the favorable market size of the country, these expatriates share their experiences.
I think overall, the people, the vibe, everything, the energy, it's a lovely place.
Nigerians are super accommodative, and I have been doing business in many countries world over, and in my current role there are 52 countries in Africa that falls under my region. This is one of the best places to do business that I think genuinely, which makes this the biggest economy of Africa.
You have a way of wearing these African fabrics, right? These Western African fabrics. The dress, the man dress in the traditional outfit, and I love that. I think it's beautiful, very colorful.
I'm happy here. I like the weather. I don't mind heat. People, they're fine. They're always joyful, smiling. Nigeria is blessed, definitely.
With over 250 ethnic groups and 400 languages, Nigeria remains the pride of the African continent.
Sure, we have a lot to offer, from food, drinks, culture, music, movies. I mean, not to talk of the beautiful locations we have all around the country. We are indeed blessed. Now, many great men have stories of humble beginnings, a fact that buttresses the saying that a diligent hawker today can be a great tycoon tomorrow. Most often, narratives of grass to grace reflect hard work, diligence, perseverance, and staunch determination. Such is the story of the House of Representatives member-elect of Kaura Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. Ben Mito will tell us more.
Going by its size and the number of its occupants, who are mostly peasant farmers, one will be surprised that the village of Fafon Safium Park, a suburb of Kaguru in Kaura local government area of Kaduna State, will now be in the news for having a son as a member of the House of Representatives, Mr. Donatus Matthew, who defeated an incumbent who has been in the Green Chamber for about 2 decades. After his secondary education in the 90s, Donatus, fondly known as Digester, joined his peers in what was the most thriving business of commercial motorcycle operation, popularly known as Okada riding, where he struggled for over a decade. Mr. Matthew cut his political teeth in 2007 when he was appointed a supervisory councillor, and in 2012 he contested and won the councillorship seat of Park Ward in Kaura Local Government Council. And when his tenure elapsed in 2014, he went back to farming, while at the same time engaging in local politics and schooling, as he now bags BSc in philosophy.
I have never been at peace like while I was doing the Okada, because no matter what it takes, every day, at least I will have something to feed my family. I'm very proud of that business. But you see, even when I was appointed a supervisory councillor, there were days that I cannot feed my family.
As it is often said, fate bends rules for its heroes. And so it was for Mr. Matthew, the Okada rider, who used his Okada for campaigns and went into the battle for his constituency, not fully sure of winning, but to fill a vacuum in the Labour Party. And to his surprise, today he is the member-elect, Kaura Federal Constituency in the 10th Assembly.
We went round, we told them what should be expected of us, that we want to change the narratives, we want to do something new. We want to carry everybody along. We want to bring sanity in Kaura local government. And people key into our ideologies. And we are convinced.
It is easy to look at him and assume that he is lucky in life. But those who know his story can vividly give account of how he never gave up, and even at the most despairing circumstances.
Very inspiring story. This is how it should be. I mean, you don't have to be an elite or get a particular status for you to be in leadership. The important thing is for you to represent the people, and that is what counts. Now, after 9 months of nurturing babies in the womb, mothers are said to have this special love and connection with newborn. Why then, or what would make a mother abandon her baby? Where then is that maternal instinct if a mother can abandon her baby after birth, not minding what becomes of the child? Clement Bariku brings us a trending story at the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, where 6 children have been abandoned within 1 year. It is indeed a cry for help.
Her arrival brings joy and celebration to her family. This, unfortunately, has not been the case with many of her type, who find themselves in the care of another person simply because they were abandoned by their parents at birth.
I wouldn't do a thing like that. Instead, I would look for money anywhere to pay up my bill and then go back home with my baby.
It's a bad situation anyway, and I guess in situations like that, the government has to be involved.
And they did not even know the destiny of these children.
The University of Uyo Teaching Hospital is already having a fair share of baby abandonment. In 2022 alone, not less than 6 children were abandoned in the hospital by their biological mothers.
We have been able to successfully put out some of these babies. If 1 or 2 have passed on, but I think majority of them did survive. We're able to put out these babies for adoption, and but there are still also 1 or 2 still left in the wards.
Baby Gift has spent 6 years in the hospital. Her case is more pathetic because she is suffering from what medical experts call neurological disorder. Her mother dumped her at the staircase of the pediatrics ward at the age of 2 upon discovering her health condition.
Baby cannot sit, cannot meet up with a developmental milestone, which may be the reason why the mother ran away and left the baby behind.
So we took the baby to the state social welfare. And when we took the baby there, they saw that the baby was physically challenged. They said that they have no facility to take care of physically challenged children.
So it was really, pressing on us and having to spend sometimes about 200,000, 300,000 naira every month, just for the upkeep and, drugs for some of these babies.
Although our visit to the teaching hospital follows the outcry by management over incessant cases of child abandonment, our curious camera lens caught another source of concern: the abandonment of patients by relatives.
I thought after surgery, I will just go back due to what you've heard and make a plan to bury my wife. And now look at how I am.
This has become a common happening, and the health caregivers are worried.
He was supposed to go in for surgery, but because of financial constraint, initially the relatives were not even seen at all.
Bills were made, or is not able to foot his bills, and nobody is coming from home to see him.
These patients and abandoned children are not sure of where their next meals will come from, but the establishment of a social security net by governments at all levels, according to the hospital management, may just be their lifesaver.
And I think foundations should reach out to people like this. If you cannot pay medical bills, there should be a way that the hospital can help them out so that they don't abandon babies and their family members at the hospital. It's not right at all. We'll take a break. Newsline will continue shortly. Thanks for staying on the line. A novelist would have titled her next story, Out of the Pack. Why? It is a story of some young Nigerians who found their dreams fulfilled through the mentorship of concerned members of the society who were determined to help redirect their steps and energies in positive ways. The youth spent time with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo in Lagos. He reassured them that the nation is concerned about their future and well-being. State House correspondent Jide Onifade will take us through their journey.
When we met and he introduced himself to me as Otito Yomi, the first thing I asked was if he knew the significance of the name.
The impact of my name means truth set me free. Means that in every circumstances you need to always say the truth.
Yes, his name can be translated to mean redeemed by truth, and he speaks briefly about this truth.
This was 2009 when I got to join the Awakening dance competition by Dr. Abitubi, which we now call the Educator. She brought me in like a son, and that very faithful day I cried and I said, I don't want to be like every other children. I want to be different, because when I see people, young adult like me, educated, then I want to be like this person. I must go to school.
Otito Yomi is from a polygamous home, and he once lived a life not worthy of the name he bears. But along the way, help comes knocking. Otito Yomi is not alone in this kind of situation. There are hundreds of young Nigerians who are off the track and need someone to help redirect their steps.
While I finished secondary school, I had no hope of going back to school because there was no finance. I was just like, I'll go to the streets and, start making stuff.
Thank God for what the Educator represents in my life. I joined the Educator at a very tender age.
Using music, dance, painting, art as a vehicle to bring them close. And then through that vehicle, we then begin to talk to them, have conversations with them about having a purpose in life, about pursuing their purpose with passion.
He's been working with this group for many years, supporting them in different ways, and he'd like to just spend time with the youth. It helps the youth even realize the fact that they're important. They're loved, they're an important member of the community, and for the Vice President, it's just an opportunity to again spend time with the underserved, with the youths of our nation. It's a way to remind the youths that they're important.
A leader who, like King Solomon, will seek for wisdom on how to rule, not just for power, wealth, and immunity.
Seeing Vice President Yemi Osinbajo as a great inspiration, especially for young people in the country, the youths, along with their mentor, who for about 19 years has been guiding them through the journey of life, seized the occasion of the 66th birthday of the Vice President to say thank you to him.
But there are some of us, like you who are seated here, who believe that there is indeed a future for our country, and who believe that our country can be run well, that our country can be run free of corruption, that it is possible for Nigerian leaders to leave office without acquiring wealth from their place, from office. It's entirely possible. And it is possible for Nigerian leaders to lead aright. It is possible. And we have seen it. We've seen it in many, many cases. And we'll continue to see it. But we need a critical mass of people. People who believe that this country can be run properly. And it may not sometimes depend on the outcomes of political contests. Some of us think, oh, it will come from the outcome of political contest. Not necessarily so. Not necessarily so. But eventually, when the time comes, you will see, everyone will see, it will be obvious that a new Nigeria has been born, and it will be seen from the actions of those who lead us at the time that a new Nigeria has indeed been born.
Lord bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord's on his.
Thank you for bringing out the best in those young people, and I pray that they also do the same for others. Very important. To another inspiring story, American poet Harry Kem, who lived in the 20th century between 1883 and 1960, takes the credit for the quote, "The poor man is not who he is without a cent, but who he is without a dream." Now, fast forward to present-day Nigeria and meet 19-year-old undergraduate who, by dint of hard work, uncommon passion, and can-do spirit, has become a poster child for that quote. He was trending online not too long ago, and I have a feeling you already know who I'm talking about. But let's join Adeni Itaiwo for more on the inspiring story of this passionate, irrepressible dream chaser.
Until January this year, when he became an instant online sensation and the internet buzzed with tales of his academic exploits, the name Adebodu Adejobi was unfamiliar to many Nigerians. And the few who knew him most likely just thought of him as that boy with cerebral palsy, a disorder of movement, muscle tone and posture, often resulting from abnormal brain development.
It also limits me of buttoning my clothes on my own. So most of the time when I try to do this, then I can't do it, but it takes me more than hours to button just one.
At significant cost to himself and his parents, Bolu conquered all odds, leaping beyond the physical, mental and social barriers his health condition put in his way to emerge with the best result in WAEC in year 2021 from the Ajayi Crowther Memorial Secondary School, Lagos.
I was able to write my exam at an isolated class whereby a junior was writing for me. A cameraman was there videoing every process of the examination, and I had to extra invigilators. When I realized that this was the way I would be asked to do my exam, I had to prepare well.
Indeed, for the amiable teenager, the distance between dreams and realities is short. Like the biblical baby Jesus, his stars shone bright, a beacon leading other stars to his residence. Since there's a story for every glory, I decided to search for our present-day Joseph to hear his story. Although my social tag doesn't scream celebrity, still, I got a loud reception fitting for the likes of Mr. Macaroni, Fowles and Adekunle Gold from Bolu, who was excited to receive the Newsline crew. Even before the first words were uttered, a family album took me on a trip into Bolu's childhood, where he had his maiden bout with cerebral palsy as a 6-month-old baby, losing the first round.
They told me then that if I can do the test, they will know whether there is still life in his leg. They later told me that Bolu will walk, that maybe whatever his mates are doing for like age 2, he will do his own like maybe age 7, 8.
The odds against his chances in life were high, but the love and support of his mother and father were higher.
Once I realized that he started picking, and this is an opportunity for me. I don't need to relent on this. I need to put more effort in order to make him move better than this. So I now decided anywhere I'm going, I just don't need to root. Anywhere I'm going, just go along with me.
Bolu still remembers how young and ill he was back then.
As I was talking, he mentioned something about him selling his car. His first car. But then, he didn't know I had it. So, he sold that car in order to pay for my fee. And then I was still a lot sick. They needed to do some certain things for me back then, to get some certain things. So ever since then, it has always been in my dream to replace now my father's car. And really, aside from that, I'm also looking at my younger brother. He has autism, and I'm looking at how to send him to better school.
He says their love for him and his own love for education are the driving force behind his dreams. The duo of Praise and Folake are Bolu's close pals. They know enough about their friend not to be surprised by his fame.
Academically, he has a higher IQ.
I wasn't surprised. I was just, I was encouraged. I was impressed.
Daddy will tell him, wake up, do the same thing your brother is doing, and do the same thing your sister is doing, even with that condition.
As a first-year undergrad at the Bells University, Ota, where he is studying biomedical engineering, the path to the future is bright for Bolu.
Being a biomedical engineer, being able to create equipment, gadgets for people not just that are sick, but also those with disability to live on a regular basis life.
Echoing his favorite quote from Harry Kemp, with fire in his eyes, Bolu hopes to soar on the wings of love.
I love my mama.
High enough to make a better world.
Oh, this is kind of stories we should play over and over again. Your limitation, like I said earlier on, your limitation is what you allow, and Bolu is proof that unique challenges can create unique opportunities and give you power to push through walls. Bolu, we're rooting for you, and we will be there to cheer you all the way. Well done. Now to love, another kind of love story. Marriage is built on trust, and it is one of the keys to the survival of marital unions. This was the central admonition from elders who witnessed the wedding fatia of 4 couples in the ancient city of Dara in Katsina State. Omenka Amarachuku has the story.
Wedding is usually times to join and celebrate mentors' commitment to unconditional love between couples. The wedding day is deemed one of the greatest day in family's life. Those involved take their time to prepare for a series of hybrid activities, modern and traditional, without demographic barriers. The convergence of family members, loved ones, and well-wishers here is to witness the wedding of nuclear families of Alhaji Adam and his friend, Malam Suleiman Osman Daura.
To our daughters, we are going to Alhaji Adam and Dina, and to further consolidate the relation we have with the people of Daura. The only advice for the bride and groom to adhere to what Islam put in place.
We thank Almighty God for witnessing this day. My advice to them is they should not allow a third party to know or to enter into their affairs. Marriage is one of the constitutions of Islam.
The memories created on the wedding day are sure to be everlasting, from the walk down the aisles to the first dance as husband and wife. Weddings are a special time to share best wishes and words of wisdom to the bride and groom.
My advice to the couple or to my friend Nura is
he should make sure that he put the best thing to put in his family is justice.
My exceptional gratitude goes to my friends, especially my childhood friends. They took this thing in a very good manner.
The secret of a happy marriage, experts say, is finding the right person. One thing that will never change.
We wish them the very best, and may your lives be filled with joy and happiness all the way. We'll take another break. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. Now let's take a trip to the coastal areas. Riverine communities are a great asset to any nation. Harnessing their potential offers tremendous benefits as they are a great resource for agriculture, fishing and transportation that can boost the economy and gross domestic product. While capturing her experience in the coastal community, Achibong Bassey reports that life in that area is a far cry from what it should be, as basic facilities are still beyond their reach.
Growing up in an urban city like Calabar, I had minimal connection with rivers. However, my career as a journalist has exposed me to the river and what it feels like to live in a riverine community. Our journey to Okwa Ebrutu, a riverine community in Odupani local government area of Cross River State, can best be likened to the proverbial climbing of 7 mountains, crossing the 7 seas, and traversing deserts.
Most of us come from a very difficult terrain. We have to pass through rivers, tread long distances to get to our destination.
We are deprived of basic amenities of life. No access road. You can see where we pass through to access our community.
It's like a nightmare. Sometimes the product they will get from the farms, the locals, it becomes a problem for them to transport them away for, to make ends meet.
The quest for the basic needs of life is a driving force for their massive turnout during the presidential and National Assembly polls to contribute their quota in electing new leadership in Nigeria. Perhaps this would bring respite to their numerous challenges.
For us who are from predominantly riverine area and are very difficult to reach, it's an opportunity to go back to our people and speak to them better and then feel their pulse and also understand the basic things that affect them.
After spending 2 days in the community and living their life, it is now time to go home, and the journey ahead of us is a 2-hour ride on a motorbike through the bushes to the Inyangibum riverbank, where we can board a canoe to the other side of the river where our vehicles were parked.
You know, adventures like this help you appreciate what people who live at the other end of town go through on a daily basis. Okay, you just did it once and for you it's really hectic, and they do it almost every day. One can only imagine the pain and trauma a rape victim goes through. For some, it is lifelong. Our next report is a case of rape, not a man raping a woman or the other way around, but a gang rape carried out by 17 teenagers on a 16-year-old girl. Rayano Bala has the details of the crime that occurred in Kudomun Demsa local government area of Adamawa State.
Nowadays, people find it difficult to trust one another on the basis of betrayal on business or relationship. In this case, one may not be wrong to call it betrayal of confidence, cheating, or use any kind of adjective to qualify it. It is a clear case of conspiracy. A boyfriend connived with 6 of his friends to gang rape his 16-year-old girlfriend.
Tayariya ne na kabu muna nema da ita budurwa na ne.
After sleeping with my girlfriend, my friends also say they want to have an affair with her. We noticed our friend is with his girlfriend, and we also want to enjoy ourselves.
The incident, which occurred in Kodomun, Demsa local government area of Adamawa State, is not only touching but unimaginable in this modern time. The matter was reported to the police, and all the 7 teenagers were arrested to face prosecution after investigation.
Young boys engages their victims and unfortunately had unlawful carnal knowledge of her. So immediately the Commissioner of Police directed that such case should be transferred to the highest investigative body, that is CID, where investigations has to be done diligently with a view of gathering both human and material evidences.
This is a wake-up call to the parents to monitor the movements of their children and the kinds of relationship they are into.
There is no excuse for rape, really. I mean, it's really horrible for the way they even described the whole story. And I want to advise young girls, maybe I'm old school, maybe my generation is getting old. I think at 16, maybe you should concentrate more on your studies and leave the boyfriend issue out, so that well, I think it will help. But there is no excuse for rape, and I'm glad that the boys have been caught. The next story you're about to watch is a tragic incident where a 13-year-old JSS1 student shot and killed a 3-year-old girl in Imesayi area of Ogun State. Hakim Jimo has details of the story.
Residents of Kukude village, Jogaurele in Yewa North local government area of Ogun State were taken aback when the news of shooting and killing of a 3-year-old girl, Esther Samuel, by a 13-year-old JSS1 student, Opoyemi Onibu, filtered into town.
I can't explain how it happened. All I know is that something came over me and pushed me to trigger. As a hunter, my apprentice told me he wanted to learn how to shoot gun, and I gave him one, which he took to his house and loaded with cartridge and dropped it carelessly. I normally use the gun for my hunting expedition and kept it in my room. I don't know what came over the boy that he took it.
Newsline investigations revealed that Dr. Yemi tried to practicalize what he watched on television, thereby picking up a locally made gun carelessly left by a local hunter, triggered and shot the 3-year-old girl on her head.
A dingo was loaded and it was kept somewhere where little children used to play. It is an act of irresponsibility on the part of the owner of the gun and on the part of the person who loaded the gun.
Eyewitnesses, including the Bale of the village, Chief Ganiyu Adeniyi, acknowledged that the victim was rushed to the general hospital in the area where she was confirmed dead by the medical doctor on duty.
When I heard the sound of the gunshot behind my compound, I raised alarm that who shot such gun, not knowing that it had caused tragedy.
When I come back, I just hear say they killed the queen of this man. What happened? They say the boy no. It's a mistake. And nothing I go talk, nothing go talk. They just they cry because the girl is a small girl.
The 32-year-old father of the victim, a citizen of Benin Republic, Samuel Ahowe, and an eyewitness who said they are still shocked, noted that there is more to the incident and want the suspects to reveal the mystery surrounding the killing.
Let them tell the truth, because there is more to the incident. I hope the law will take its course.
Being a minor does not mean that you cannot be prosecuted. They can be taken to juvenile court, depending on the motive behind the killing of the 3-year-old if he did it intentionally.
45-year-old Seniu Adegeshi and 30-year-old Abiola Olaloye have also been arrested in connection with the crime.
Keep dangerous weapons away from children and the environment where they are. Not wise at all. We'll take a last break. We'll be back. Welcome back. Tragedy has struck in a neighborhood, Young Awake quarters of Uwakun in Kano, where neighbors found the decomposing body of Aisha, known as Maman Ayan, and her 4-month-old baby in a mosquito net in their residence 2 days after they were found dead. Hadiza Muhammad reports.
Late Aisha Isiaku, popularly known as Zina, in her late 30s, was known to many as Zina and only recently relocated to an Awaki area ago. Hence, only few neighbors seemed familiar with her. Aisha Salis was a neighbor to the deceased and used to send her children to assist late Zina with the household chores and carry her baby whenever she wanted to go out, as she was battling with a heart condition.
I entered her house and saw that she had washed many clothes, her kitchen and almost everywhere, and that she could do it as she was feeling better.
We used to exchange greetings when we meet, but never knew she lived behind my house.
Few days to her death, Zina was in Aisha's house to inform her that her husband, who is a tanker driver, was around and going to get some vegetables to cook his meal. Since it was the tradition for the neighbor of the deceased to disengage her children whenever the late husband was around, she really didn't bother to keep in touch with her within such period. Also, her 17-year-old daughter, who was in Maiduguri, then confirmed to neighbors that she spoke with her mother on phone, who said she called to ask her for her forgiveness and that she was in severe pain due to her worsening heart condition. Zina and her 4-month Ariane were suspected to have died that night after the phone conversation, but unknown to neighbors not until after 2 days. Her husband had left and the smell of decomposing bodies and flies were all over the neighborhood. After a prolonged unanswered knock on the gate and unreached phone calls, neighbors quickly reported the case to the nearest police station. With the help of some men around, they mounted a ladder to gain access into the house and found the decomposed corpse.
We found her in the bed with her son or daughter. I think maybe she is baby or boy.
Neighbors who were devastated and still in shock continue to ask questions as to what must have happened that night.
We called her husband's and relations' phone numbers but couldn't get them. But he later called and said he received the sad news from someone else around 2 p.m.
Aisha and her 4-month-old baby boy were moved to hospital. Of course, at the scene, there is no any sign of violence on their body. But however, investigation is in progress. Whenever we live with people and for some time we do not see them, we need to find out of their whereabouts.
Zina's daughter and other family members who arrived from Maiduguri left after the 3 days morning prayer with her belongings.
It is good to always check on your neighbors. I mean, wasn't the last week we were talking about the importance of relating with your neighbors? So let's not forget that. Now, the idea of the Foreign Service being a big family came to bear when the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Onyama, honored 110 of its retired staff. They include those retired from 2019 to 2022. Garuba Nata'Allah reports that it was a vibrant get-together that recognized those who duly deserve honor. The event also demonstrated the unity that exists in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
It was a warm get-together and a nostalgic one. Unity and togetherness exhibited by staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs proved unconditionally that Nigeria's Foreign Service is one big family. To add color to the valedictory ceremony of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, awards were presented to all deserving staff of the ministry that retired. Minister of Foreign Affairs reaffirmed the fact that the retirees were diligent, hardworking, and have shown high sense of responsibility while in service, and urged them to take advantage of opportunities that likely might come their way.
In the diplomatic sphere, and I have been, in a sense, the beneficiary of that, Nigeria is still highly regarded, and we're still delivering real dividends at the international level.
Director overseeing the Office of the Permanent Secretary, Janet Olise, was emphatic that more opportunities await them, saying their contribution to national development is exceptional.
Retirement is a transition to another phase in life of every public servant, and is inevitable. And as the saying goes, everything that has a beginning surely has an end. Therefore, we are all here to witness and to celebrate with you.
There were delicacies and the atmosphere was friendly.
3 years afterwards, the ministry remembered and called me for. I feel elated. I feel fulfilled that the 35 years in service, though not all of them were spent in foreign affairs, has been recognized.
My candid advice for those officers who are leaving behind is to dedicate themselves to this service, the foreign service, which is highly elitist in nature, and then there should be decorum and fairness in all the things and in their conduct.
They continue to celebrate as one big family that they will cherish all their lives.
And on that note, we end this edition of Newsline. Thank you for being a part of it. Keep a date with us next week, and don't forget that the fastest and easiest way to becoming a star is to connect with the NTA to stand against rape and rapists. Good night, and God bless Nigeria.